Hey everybody, welcome back to Days Well Spent. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do a garden walkthrough and just talk about its progression. I do want to mention that we grew everything from seeds in the garden. Margaret did start the tomatoes. She started them a month late. She started them in late January. She usually starts the day after New Year's, but it just is what it is. They're still doing well though. So 3 weeks ago, we planted all the low ground cover type things. So these are lettuces. We got romaine. I'm not sure. I think it's a butter lettuce, and then just a leaf lettuce mix. And those are where they're at after 3 weeks. I've got at the ends of the rows, we've got radishes. You can see like the radish. That one's probably ready to harvest. You see that one is too. We planted the tomatoes a few days ago, so they're doing pretty good. These are beets coming up in between the tomatoes. This is Swiss chard that's coming up. Again, radishes at the end of the rows. Spinach, that's ready to start harvesting. We can start eating it. Each of the poles, we have pole beans, green beans. Again, you can see there's a radish there. That one's ready to pick. We can go ahead and pick that. Yeah, look at that. It's a nice looking radish. Again, more tomatoes. These are along our fence. Those are peas. They'll get long enough, we'll train them over onto the back fence when they go. Now we planted those just about 9 days ago, and they're already growing that fast. This middle row, I've got some weeds growing up, but in those weeds, those are carrots, and carrots grow well with tomatoes. So we tried real careful not to mess those up as we were planting the tomatoes. And then coming further down here, there we go. That's basil. Mark got a little bit of basil intermixed with the tomatoes. Here we have some more radishes. These are some, I forgot, like colossal radish or something like that. I have to go look at my list. And these things here are sunflowers, giant mammoth sunflowers. The reason we planted those was for the bees. Read somewhere, I saw something that bees supposedly like those big sunflowers. So we're going to try it. And then we have, that's cucumber growing up there. I need to weed this little place. There's another cucumber. A couple of them in there. Today is April 21st. You saw a video that we had done recently we redid our canopy cover. We do not have the shade cover up right now. We're going to try something different this year. We've had some issues where we think we've been putting the shade cover up too soon and stunting the growth of our tomatoes. So we're going to go ahead and wait a little bit later. How late, I don't know, but it's still kind of cool now. It's only like 65, 70 degrees right now as I'm walking through the garden. This is our blackberries. All these blackberries came from this one blackberry here. We took clippings off of it and rooted them and planted them along the fence. They're 2 years into the growing, and I did a good pruning on them this early spring, and they look great. I'm real happy with them. I think we should have a pretty good blackberry crop again this year. All right, and these are container onions. I've had these actually for a couple years. They're doing real well, so we just leave them in there and harvest from them anytime we want, fresh green onions. The other thing is we always keep a bird bath full of water. For one thing, a lot of times birds come in the garden, and the reason they eat tomatoes and juicy fruits is because they're looking for moisture. So we found through many years that if you keep a bird bath just full of water, it helps keep the birds from eating your tomatoes because they've got a source of water. The cat that we've got helps too, though, our feral cat. But we also keep the water because in the afternoon, our beehives seem to go into this frenzy mode. We haven't figured out why yet. And they'll come over and they'll get in the water, and they'll take water back to the hive. So you know, you always want a water source close for your bees as well. Then kind of mixed in the onions, we have I'm not sure if that's zucchini or yellow squash. Margaret planted it recently. And same with this, there's another one. And then at the end of one of the rows, she put some of those as well. And those, she did start from seeds 3 weeks ago. And she just planted these a couple days ago. Now this year, Margaret got a raised bed. And actually, she just finished up a video on it that you'll be able to watch. So she's trying. It's the first time we've really done a raised bed other than like in, you know, large pots or anything. So we'll see how that goes as well. And it's like cross planting with basil and flat leaf parsley with the tomatoes in a raised bed. This beehive is another new hive. I'm not sure. I think we have a video up of last year when our main hive swarmed. And it swarmed twice because it's a super strong hive. And when it swarmed, it ended up landing one of the swarms in this trumpet honeysuckle here. And I was able to get them and scoop them into the hive. But unfortunately, they didn't survive. I don't know if I didn't get the queen or if she just got hurt. Who knows? I don't know. But it didn't make it. But this year, I created this hive by splitting our main hive. It was so strong. About 5 weeks ago, I opened up the main hive, and it was like at almost 100% capacity of bees. They were everywhere. As soon as I popped the top open, there were just bees all the way up, and we felt like they were going to swarm again, which usually happens. So I decided to go ahead and split it. So let me come over here to the main hive. So this one is the one that I got that secondary hive from. When I had opened it up, like I said, it was packed full of bees. Usually that's a sign of swarming. So I started pulling frames, and I found queen swarm cells, not just queen cells, but queen swarm cells. And I knew that as soon as a queen emerged, that she'd probably take a good portion of the hive with her, because that's what happens. So I took the frames with the queen swarm cells, 5 frames with some of them, moved them over to the new hive, and moved some of the bees over there with them from other frames. Then I went through this hive, and I got rid of all the queen swarm cells so that they could focus on growing this hive and not swarming. So that was probably about a quarter of the bees that came out of this one to form the other hive. So coming back to this one, you can see that there is some pretty decent activity. I feel real confident that at this point they're going to make it. When you watch, it's real hard with the GoPro, but the bees are coming in with their legs filled with pollen, so that's a really good sign that they're going out harvesting, foraging, and coming back to build the hive. And this is our onion patch, and there's our cat Razumdar. That's our feral cat that we feed just a little bit, keep him around, and for the most part he gets his own birds and mice, and he keeps birds out of the garden, squirrels out of the garden, and mice from the house. So I'm pretty excited about that. As you can see on one of the onions here, we got a honeybee right there. They seem to like the onions. And again, there's Razumdar. He's our feral cat. All right, that's an overview of the garden and where we're at with it this year, and bees included. So hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please hit the subscribe button, follow us, leave comments below, and as always, visit our website at dayswellspent.com.